Hello Sagittarius, welcome back to my channel, The Vibes Inside. I am Mariana and I am ready here to do your reading. So I've pre-shuffled the cards. I try to do shorter readings. I'm not really succeeding in that. It just seems like I'm not supposed to, I think. Well, I just follow my instinct on this one, right? So, as I usually do. That's just my style of reading. Well, I pre-shuffled the cards and I opened them, and I feel like there is a message here. I'm kind of, it's like there is a message that is, I just said, and the message is here, but it's not here. Like, I think for you Sagittarius. So as overall energy, I took out my Lemurian deck here. It spoke to me like I should take it as overall and underlying energy, and it tells me something because the Lemurian deck is, well, it talks about a time, right? It talks about a time where things were different. Like some would say that it's just a story, like Atlantis and Lemuria. It's just a story. We have no verification that it actually exists. It's just Plato mentioned it somewhere, and well, there has been sunken cities, but we don't really know exactly. It's like it's just these stories, narratives that have somehow survived in, like, the masses of stories. Like the story of Jesus has survived, right? Because it has, like, it had an impact. It was a big enough news story. I talked last time for you, Sagittarius, I talked about like you being the news reporter, like selecting out the most highlighted stories and choosing to have your focus on that and kind of telling those stories, right? So now today I sit with the Lemurian deck, and it just tells me something about maybe like a lost story, like something that was once, but it's not here anymore, or it's, you would like it to be, I've talked about this hit that I had in the 2 weeks ago in the Virgo reading, and it seems like all the zodiacs that come after the Virgo, just until Pisces, kind of carry a, like, I feel like a memory of some of this, that something had, that there was an impact at some point. So there is a little more caution with these signs. There's a little more, I wouldn't say reality check, where the first signs can be maybe a little more into their own head, you would say, to just go by their own instinct and so on. And then there's this hit that kind of just takes us out of balance somehow. And after that, it's like there's this, I even see like the Virgo as like midlife crisis, or for women we have the start of menopause in this area, like something like that, right, could happen. And some don't even get to the Pisces age, right? They don't even get to experience old age, becoming the elderly. Some die before that, right? But usually, the first round, unless you die very, very young, or otherwise you have the others. You may have the hit at some point. Well, usually we have felt some kind of hit at some point, right? And Virgo can be positioned anywhere in your chart. Maybe you had the hit very early. Maybe you had the hit very late. It still depends on housing and everything, but it has to do with the Virgo energy. And for me, the Virgo energy is, well, it can be viewed as perfectionism, right? Like really something needs to be constantly perfect. But I don't think it's the original energy. The original energy is very pure, like it comes directly from God or Jesus or divinity somehow. And therefore it has a certain tune to it. It has a certain message. And you see, if something pollutes that, like it's like, you know, like the rewriting of the Bible, then you put stuff in it, right? To make it like fit society or something. I know that there has been like a reduction of the Gospels. For instance, the Gospel of Mary Magdalene is not in the Bible, like the so-called real Bible, right? So it's almost like that the Bible, if we take that as, because it's, again, it represents this Virgo, like it could be any kind of scripture that you would consider like that would be the voice of God, right? That kind of feeling. And when something gets a hit, it means that it gets polluted or changed, or it's taken out of the picture, right? It's like it disappears. It's destroyed. The bridge to the upper realm is destroyed, you could say. So it could be the feeling that, and you being the truth teller, sometimes it comes to me, across to me, that Sagittarius, you could be like I don't know how to, well, I just give you an example, right? If Virgo, way back in Lemurian times, if Virgo was the one who sat in the temple, in the meditation, tuning in on the upper realm, they would come with certain, you know, like in like speaking in tongues, right? They would speak a message, and you would be the interpreter of this, and you will bring it to the masses. So you will print the newspaper, right? Or you will run to the king and give him this message. Do you get my point? It's like you're the one that is bringing forth the message from someone who sits in a very special kind of connection when it was unpolluted. Do you get my point of that? Something sits in a, yeah, the best, or like the best thing I can tell you is like there was this oracle, a woman called Pythia or something, she was working as the oracle of Delphi once, right? And she did that. She sat there in like deep trance and meditation, and she spoke something that supposedly came from like a higher realm. And this became known as she was speaking prophecies, right? She could be like a seer, or someone who spoke prophecies. And then Sagittarius, you come in today. You come in as you're the one sitting there taking notes, right? And you go back and you do like editing, you know, and then you bring the message to the king, or you bring the message to the community, right? I've seen you before as being the philosopher, the one that like chooses to like look at society and bring forth something that may not be always considered maybe proper, but it's important to get the truth out, whatever the truth may be. And you see, if Virgo gets polluted, now whatever they may tell is now, it comes with a new tune, right? Or maybe they even, like they got mute. Like suddenly they weren't speaking anymore. So you have nothing to write. Do you get my point? That's what I feel like. It's like from Lemurian times where things were quite yin-like. It was very loving, kind, understanding. It was a high vibrational yin society. And there was an equivalent, right? There was Atlantis, which was a high society or high frequency yang, mostly yang-oriented community. But Lemuria was this yin-like, very feminine, and it means there was a heightened awareness about psychic abilities and all this stuff. It was in a high vibrational state. If we believe the stories of Plato, it was all destroyed. Lemuria was and Atlantis was. And today I now sit with like this feeling that you are this news reporter, right? You are the one. I said last time it's something about what kind of story like is like beaming as the biggest one, right? Which ones do we remember? And in the third dimension, unfortunately, we often remember the bad ones because our amygdala center has forced us to recognize the things that are a threat to us. That's for our survival. So usually we remember the bad stuff more than the good times, or just the plain times where things are pleasant, but well, we don't write them down, right? No, we write the big stuff down. So when big stuff happens, and we see it all in the newspaper world today, usually the stories are negative, right? They are there to like put out warnings and they can install worries or fears or all kinds of stuff. So we have to become very clear on what is the dominant story of your life, Sagittarius, if you somehow resonate with what I'm saying. Like if you consider yourself or that you have always been someone who wanted to speak the truth. But again, where does this truth come from? Who is telling you this truth, right? And does it come from a healthy place or a broken place? As I said, the oracle that I talked about, right? Before the hit, it was like the oracle was like a direct bridge. There was a direct bridge towards like a higher dimensional understanding. And again, we in that dimension there is no linear time, right? It comes in with like information in whatever, and the oracle can't choose necessarily, right? She speaks whatever comes. It's like she's a translator, right? So she just speaks, or a loudspeaker, that she speaks whatever comes when she sits there, right? So she speaks and someone was writing it down. And I feel like that was you. I could even go as far as saying, let's say you just get a picture of this, right? That you were a disciple of Jesus once in a past life. And when he was sitting there calmly speaking to his disciples about God light, again, he was a direct representative of the divine, right? So he spoke. You could have been one of the disciples that wrote it down, right? And when he died, like when he disappeared from earth after crucifixion and everything, what does a disciple of Jesus do now without this magnificent being? Do you get my point? It's like there is a collaboration between, or a codependency between the news story that kind of fixates here in your brain or what you're speaking and where it comes from, right? Like the truth that you want to speak, or the philosophy you want to write down, or the theory that you have, it comes from somewhere. So and I just have this feeling that without it, like without that source, that the oracle of Jesus, like without that being somehow, there is no story to tell. There is no new story to tell. You're kind of, like you can't write new stories. It's like losing a muse, or like all inspiration is gone. If as a writer or a screenplay writer or something, like it's like there's no new information, no new creativity, no new inspiration. Do you get my point of that? Like that's kind of the scenario that I get from this story, that I get here. It's like there is a lack of, I almost want to say fire, right? It's like like a lack of, it could even be a sense of despair, like have lost a muse means that your biggest inspiration source is gone. So now I feel, that's what I feel like, a big inspiration source is gone. And it could have been a Virgo, like, or someone who was in service somehow to a higher calling. Maybe like a priest or something, just something like that, right? Really wanting to have an unpolluted, clear connection with something and speak that truth, right? It was important that it was real, that it was trustworthy also. And then something happened, and now the things that come are not the same, right? Maybe they are no longer reliable, like maybe they are polluted somehow. The stories don't get like a headline. If you make an article for a newspaper, it's like they're not chosen, or you only get like little pay for it because it has low value somehow, it's not those big stories, that kind of like hit. It never becomes, what can I call it? Like you don't get a Nobel Prize for them. You get something like that, right? It seems like it's less, that it has less truth to it, or like it doesn't ring right with people or something. Do you get my point? Something like that. So when you realize, oh, this doesn't really ring well with people, I can't have a success in this area. It seems like my muse is gone. Like you're writing a novel, but you can't seem to get, it takes you years to finish it. And when you actually publish it, nobody reads it. That's the feeling. 19 minutes in. This is the storyline. Okay? So you can click off now if you don't want to listen to any more. I know I make long readings, but this is kind of the storyline that I have. Like the feeling that a muse is lost, that you're somehow I wouldn't say codependent, but there's a collaboration between what the muse is kind of feeding you or telling you, or right? It could be that normally you dream about a lot of stuff, and when you wake up, you have the story, you have like the ideas, and now suddenly it's kind of cut off. There are no dreams, there's nothing coming, you can't hear anything, you can't, it seems like it's just cut off. There's nothing new coming. And there is this feeling of like I get it could be a feeling a bit of like a despair feeling, like that something is over, right? That and it feels like it's like in your eyes, Sagittarius, you feel like it's important. Like you feel like it should continue, right? That what is being told, or what is being told from the highest, beautiful, clearest place should still be here. As I said also with the Libra and the Scorpio readings after this, it's like everyone went into this experience of wanting to get it back. Like wanting to have Jesus back, right? Because it's like that kind of energy, that kind of person must not die, right? That is not fair. It's a tragedy, right? It's like something so bright and light and shining and like with beautiful intentions for everyone is not supposed to disappear, right? It's not supposed to disappear. It could be like losing a child, a baby. It's like, it doesn't make sense, right? And there could be this drop after, right? That we drop into grief, we drop into like despair because of it. The Libra was doing first aid, like just plain laying there. Scorpio now tries to create like protective shield around whatever happened, the wound. I talked yesterday in the Scorpio reading, I talked about like immune system, right? Like the protective immune system soldiers, right? That come in and try to protect the wound so that it's supposed to heal again, right? Grow together. And it stands there to fight off the germs and everything. But in the Scorpio reading, there was actually an energy to like stand down soldier, right? That stand down. Like this, Scorpio has been trying to do the heart massage of something for a very long time. And today it comes in like, again, this feeling of that something got lost, and therefore I don't have my inspiration. It could be like the feeling of not having, like a purpose or a compass, that the compass I should steer towards, or the inspiration, I don't know how to find it now, right? I don't know how to find it now. So I'm kind of I'm looking for something that is not there. I think also that's why Scorpio is asked to stand down. Like there's this feeling also with the tomatoes, you see them on the front picture, like there's a maturing phase going on, where we are moving from one position of a green tomato, right, into another one. And it is an expansion or a growth process, but it doesn't necessarily feel like that. So there may have been like feelings of that have been very difficult, right? That and you are a fire sign, right? You really want to do something. You really want to. It's almost like, again, fire has to move. So otherwise it burns. Otherwise it burns you. Like it gets like stuck in you. You don't know where to put it, right? And you're the last fire sign. You can't just throw it into the hands of someone else. It's like it sticks with you and you can't seem to know what to do with it if there is no way of creation, if there's no inspiration or no. So it feels a bit like an uninspired or a Sagittarius, right? Or a Sagittarius that has lost his or her muse. That's what I feel like. The feeling of not having that compass, that like something that tells you to go in this direction here. To be the creator of something, the builder of something. It's like there is no plan. You know, like the muse would give you inspiration to like show you the new theater, right? Like having the vision of seeing this new theater. It has not been built yet. And you would be the one, yes, of course, let me build that, right? It's almost like the vision of something is not there. You can't see anything. It doesn't come to you. So you need to, like, maybe literally in life, work with someone else who has that and can kind of, you know, like draw it on a piece of paper and then give it the plans to you. And then you take it and you say, oh, okay, now I know what to do then, right? Because now you've shown me what the plans are. But it means that you're trusting a person to be the one who is, you're trusting a person to be your muse now. Not a divine being, right? You're trusting a person. And we know with people that they have yin and yang. Maybe sometimes their plans are really, really good and with the best intentions ever. But it can be flawed. We know that about humans, right? Sometimes there can be really bad intentions. And but this is the second best choice if you don't have the muse yourself, right? You need to collaborate with someone else now. Yeah, it has this feeling of I have to make a second best choice then. Like if I can't communicate here, I have to communicate with someone here who then becomes the muse, like the one that comes in with the plan or the vision of something. And then you become the one that kind of executes it, writes it down, like brings it to the masses. Let's say you are a communication worker in a company and you are now the one that brings out agendas for meetings. You are the one that you stand for any communication in like internal communication, maybe external also. So you write the truth or the what you're what the vision that is given to you. You're now writing this and you send it out. So you can send out any kind of information about the firm that you are working for, or but do you get my point? You sit in a position where you are carrying out some kind of plans that come from someone else. But it's no longer from, well, you could have a Virgo boss, right? That could be quite like meticulous about or quite particular around a certain plan. And they hand you this, but they are still in human form, right? You're not standing in front of Jesus here. Do you understand that now you're carrying out the second best choice that you can? If you somehow relate with that feeling, and that the work you do, or that it's well, you are doing what you are capable of. Like it is innately in you to be like someone who communicates, like that the truth teller. You want to bring something out there. So that you're doing that, but the source of the vision or the plan or the agenda, the structure, it comes from a source that could have personal interests that you don't know anything about. Does it make sense? That's the storyline. That's actually it, right? And it's quite interesting that I have, I want to start with the underlying energy. So, what has been kind of driving you towards maybe this realization or the meeting with me and what I'm telling you here, right? So, I have the sacral chakra here coming out from the Lemurian cards. The sacral chakra is, you could say, the womb. This is where life is created. This is where we get, well, babies can be created, any kind of life, new inspiration. This is the womb of creation. Also, we say that this is the place where we get our ideas from, where they grow and mold, and suddenly it's like, yeah, this is what I want to do. Or you get an idea to some kind of product, and you're kind of molding it, like you twist and turn it and think about it, and then yeah, now I have it. Now I put this, I'm drawing now this kind of product, or I'm putting it into existence. So it starts maybe as just a little feeling or an inkling of something, and that it grows and grows like a child, like a fetus. It grows into, now I got the idea, right? Now I got my inspiration for this novel ending, right? Or so this has been like a driver here, that this is somehow highlighted, either the lack of, or that you have tried to bring something forth here. But I feel like you failed, because I have the Two of Fire here reversed. The Two of Fire, well, the Two of Fire is usually a card of, wanting, it's like you have two wands. So you have to decide, which one do I want? And usually we go with the one that looks most profitable, like the most abundant one in our eyes, right? The most abundant one that could bring us maybe more fame or more money, or could bring good things into our lives. The best investment of your energy, right? Because it's fire energy here. But this was reversed here, right? So it feels a little bit like having a problem with figuring out what is the best choice to make. And even, I want to say, because it's reversed, it could have be a feeling that there is not much energy to build with at all. Like the inspiration is not really there, right? As I said, it's like it feels like that the inspiration to take care of stuff, it's lacking here. So I took a card to just have a little more knowledge about this. I took the bottom of this card here to clarify here, and I have the Two of Earth. The Two of Earth talks about juggling too much earthy stuff, juggling too much, having too much on your plate, wanting too much at the same time. Having many plans, or, well, it's tangible when it's pentacles. So usually it's stuff like things you have to do, practical, earthy matters that needs to be done. And the reason, when it's like inspiration goes away here, and your energy to sit in a creative mode goes away when you have a lot to do, like a lot of practical things to do, practical matters to do. Then your inspiration goes away, right? When the practical day-to-day life takes over, and if you have a lot of it, you're usually probably busy, right? The Two of Pentacles here is also where you could be dealing with more than one job, right? You could be dealing with, it could be anything. Let's say you have many children here. It requires certain work to deal with that, right? It requires personal, emotional investment, of course, but it also, there are things to be done if you have many children, right? It could be that you are already involved in certain projects, many projects perhaps here, that have different timelines and agendas and everything, and to get new inspiration, like to see new plans. Let's say you are an art director, or you are some kind of creative director. You're already occupied with the execution of some kind of more practical thing here. There could be something about you are better with, you should actually not be involved in let's say production, like production here, and like the physical plans of something. You shouldn't be doing that. Like, there should be people doing that. It seems like, I think I'm talking to a Sagittarius where you should be like one who only creates. You shouldn't be involved in the production of something here. Like the planning, the production, who should we talk to, who is going to print this and who is going to print that. We have to get our blueprints right, we have to get logos right, we have to, who is doing the web page. You're not supposed to do that. Like, that's how I see it. Like the earthly matters here, or the practical or rather tangible matters of something is not your field, I think. This is when the muse disappears. Like when the muse disappears, and this like navigation of, oh, what am I going to do next? It's almost like it swallows it. Like that if practical life swallows your, the practical life swallows your creation, your creative mode, your fire. It's like your fire gets distinguished by practical earthly matters. Or concerns. It could be concerns also. That's why you're doing them, right? Otherwise you would drop one of them here. You're doing it because it's probably necessary. Two of Pentacles could talk about dealing with more than one job, right? You need an income. You need to pay bills. You need to take care of, I don't know, bills, paying for your house, mortgage, daily practical house chores, home chores. Again, if you have many children, there could be something like, like laundry, making dinner, groceries, cleaning, and they are practical, right? But there's also like an emotional side to it, right? Some of the reasons why you do all that stuff is because they are your dear ones. They are, because I have the beloved card here as well. There's something we are doing here because it's near and dear to us, and that's why we are somehow invested in it. But it seems a little bit like practical life has taken over for you somehow in this case here. The earthly life somehow kills your fire, Sagittarius. Maybe you have strong earth placements, like besides your Sagittarian sun, perhaps, right? Or you have a rising sign that is, well, I could say Virgo, right? But one of the other signs, like Taurus or Capricorn. Maybe you have a strong earth rising sign here, and the rising sign kind of takes over. So you become extremely practical and organized and everything. And now you see what happens. You are not the creative one now. You probably get creations from someone else. Someone has a vision, you get the creation, and now you become the one that is standing for the plans and execution of it, talking to any kind of external collaborative partnership firms or people out there, right? You're the one that now executes another one's plan, but actually I think you should be the one who should do the planning here, but it gets absorbed because of the planning. Like you sit in a wrong job, I think, but it could be because you don't believe that you can. Like there's this feeling that your muse is gone, but the reason is because that's what I feel like here. The reason is because you sit in the. It should be reversed. Do you get my point of that? Like it should be reversed. Like there should be people here around you who should do the execution of the plans, and you should be the one getting the plans. Again, as I said, it's like having this connection and then actually seeing them, right, or speaking them, and then someone else should take them and execute them. That's what I feel like. So you have been sitting in a position where you have felt lack of a muse here, or lack of inspiration, lack of a compass or passion, or it's like it's died down. Well, the creative womb is still here, but it's like the light has gone out. There is no plan here, actually. There is no vision. There's nothing that, now I got it. There's no wow or no, like light bulb moment that kind of just comes in. It's not there. And therefore you have been sitting. And this is where, like a creative director who gets no ideas cannot stay a creative director for long. Then you become maybe, like you get a secondary position in the firm where someone else now gets the ideas and you become the one that executes it, right? But it's not a satisfying moment. And again, I feel like it could be because something was challenged, right? With like this Virgo energy. The Virgo card that was almost destroyed or the card that got mostly destroyed during this coffee attack here, when I did the Virgo reading, was the card of Ace of Raphael, and it's a card that talks about positive emotions, fulfilling relationships, and deep and spiritual insights. So it feels a little bit like the fun, the trust, and spirituality, or like connection or bridge is gone. And when that is gone, it's like there's no muse, there's no inspiration coming, right? It is like it's cut, and it means that now you are on your own. But what does a news writer do if they don't have an oracle? They must seek something else. Then you become in service of something else, right? That's what I feel like is happening here. Like you are in service of something else. And again, depending on who or what that is, there can be a yin and a yang to it. And maybe you know it, like let's say you work in a company and you write all the marketing articles or anything from the firm. And you sit there, you get your salary from sitting and producing all this communication. And you have probably been given certain, guidelines to what this this article should be about, and then it's sent out to the public. And you may know that some of the stuff that's in there is not maybe quite exactly how it is, or it shows a very polished side of the firm, but you may know that, well, there is another side also, or, something like that. And that's why it's not satisfying to you. That's why you feel that it's off, right? And this has been with you. Like this is a driver. It's like a driving force in you that pushes forward some kind of process in you. It could be the feeling of having lost a muse. That something maybe once you believed in, you don't believe in it anymore. You feel exhausted. You don't have the spark anymore. You don't feel you have the glow or this the light bulb moments. You don't have inspiration. And this has been in you for a while here. And it has probably felt very uncomfortable, right? That it's like you don't have like the most important informant. Like the most important connection and informant is not there. That's why your stories, the things that you print, it doesn't have that quality to it. Like you're writing maybe for a firm, but actually you want to write about something much bigger or something like, I don't know, God love something, right? You want to peace on earth, some, big thing, something big. Again, the Nobel Prize story, right? That's what you want to do, but the informant is not there somehow. So I get as an overall energy this card here, again a Lemurian card, shine your light, it says. And in the book, this card talks about doing what you love, time to thrive, giving from the overflow, life purpose, and being authentically you, compassionate self-empowerment, loving life and trying things you resonate with, bringing joy to others by being an inspiration. Here, this is what you want to be, right? And the dissatisfaction of having this, and too much organization and too much planning and everything is, which we see in this card here. It's like, I think it has come to a forefront for you. That all this planning and organization and maybe taking care of others, it's actually killing you, a part of you. A part of you becomes small when you do that. Like when you become the one that executes other people's plans, it kills any inspiration that you have. And you feel like you're not getting anywhere, like it's not taking you anywhere. So here we have Shine Your Light card. So this talks about, I want to say, returning to who you are here. Doing what you love to do, not necessarily what other people are telling you to do. And this can be a problem if you have really lost like the feeling of muse and what is good for you, right? Or what feels authentic or real or truthful to you. Then this can be a problem, right? But it's in your awareness. Like this is overall energy, so it's like it's almost screaming at you, right? To be this one. You want to find this light again here. It's in you. That's why it's overall energy. It's in you. You have a focus on, how do I get this back? How do I get this back? How can I somehow, like thrive? How can I have overflow? how can I follow my life purpose? How can I be authentically myself, and love life, and do things that I resonate with, and bring joy to others? It could be something like if you could, like bring the love of God to earth. Like being that bridge of how to do that. How can we establish more of this? Then that would be how you could shine that light of yours, instead of writing, like a review, a car review. Do you see the difference? Like that for Sagittarius, I feel like it has to have more. Yeah, there has to be more to it, like, right? Not just writing about the matrix and stuff in there. It has to be a little more, I feel like a big story, right? Something that is really meaningful in life. So it says here, you are amazing. There is no one like you, and no one can do you as you can. Yet we sometimes feel that we need to be a certain way, a way not aligned with our authentic self. This is what I feel is here. You may feel obliged to be something or someone. You may have stopped doing some of the things you love due to time or energy restraint. As I said, when you take time to do what truly makes you shine each day, you will light up and bring joy to other people's worlds. As you go about your life, you will have a sense of purpose which you have been lacking, right? And feel naturally inspired to fulfill your responsibilities. You will also have more energy and love to overflow. This is what is in your concern. This is what you have your focus on right now. Maybe you know it, like maybe you have to quit that one job, or both of them perhaps, or that you really want to get back into like a creative mode, like restore something here. And this is the second chakra, the sacral chakra here, right? And actually, to clarify this, I also have the sacral chakra here. So it's here twice. Like, this is really not a coincidence, right? It's very synchronistic that you may have this idea that how to shine your light here is actually something that has to do with the second chakra here, Archangel Ariel. That to restore some of this can bring some of this back. Or that you have your awareness on this, that these two go together. Like the feeling that I just read from the book, right, about being who you are, like really being the one you are, feeling inspired and having purpose and everything, that it comes when you get away from things that restrain you. That when you feel tied into something, or that you should be someone else. Actually, I feel like I get like a very independent energy here, actually, but in a tie, like a need for independence, but you are in a tie somehow. And because of that, it's, as I said, you work maybe in a firm as a communication consultant or something, right? You may be an editor or something, right? And you are good at that. You can easily do that job, but it's not fulfilling at all. Like, what you are editing is not your own writing, first of all, and the things you publish is not from your own heart. It's not from your own, truth. So it's you do the second best thing you can without a muse, right? But the reason the muse is not there is because you are doing that. That's what I like. It's because you are doing. It's because you're doing this, right? You're doing way too much of this. This is having a lot on your plate, like feeling very stressed, following other people's plans, perhaps. Like maybe you have all your life been following a plan, you know, like someone gave you an advice, or after some kind of hit, you felt really purposeless, like not knowing what to do now. It's like losing Jesus, right? What am I going to do now? Like he's gone. Like what am I going to do now, right? It could have been, you know, like after maybe losing a very, very beautiful loved one or a child. As I said, it's like my purpose here is gone. Like I have always wanted to be a mother or father, and now I just face despair because they're gone. So I get by, I do what other people tell me to do. I try to follow some plans here, but it's not working, right? The inspiration or the feeling of the muse or the truth or like the idea of being a philosopher, like all this stuff about thinking about life, putting life into perspective, wanting to give that or send that out somehow, it has been lost, right? But it's actually your beloved, right? This is, as I said, what you are shining, the shine here. You're moving towards this, something that is very dear to you, and that again, it's real and it's authentic and it's beautiful and it's pure and it's it has that is your fire, right? Your fire here is here. So here again we have a sense of like a sacrifice. Like we need to let go of this understanding. If this is the main story, that you have lost something here, then it can come back. So maybe you need to look at this story here, if that is what you are going through, right? That story, I said it also last time, that if that is the main story, new cannot come. Like new here cannot come, and you can never get close to this unless you're willing to make a change of something here. There's probably a sense of unhappiness, maybe even despair, as I said, or like definitely maybe or frustration or misery here. And this is what needs to like be changed. Like as long as this story is the main story, this is what is can also keep you, I think, from. And then also combined with this idea that maybe you work for others here, you work for others and you have way too much to do. Like this the planning, the execution of other people's plans are taking up all your energy. It's draining you, and you are not getting close to what's actually like really purposeful. I feel like it's not purposeful. This idea of sacrificing something, like sacrificing the third dimension, sacrificing suffering and sadness and lack and misery and despair, and it has been with me also, like from Virgo and Libra and Scorpio, and now also you. It's like the stories that have been prominent. We have to review them, right? You have to make a review of this, and then decide what to do. At least if you want to change it, you literally have to do something then. Does it make sense? I'm not saying it's easy. I'm just saying that that's what I see in the cards, right? That the new inspiration doesn't come when you sit in despair. The new inspiration comes when you decide not to be a victim. To be the one who was left back with no muse, right? Or when you're grieving something. Grieving that your inspiration was lost. As long as you sit there, nothing new comes. Like, it's almost like you are blocking it yourself here. So I've said this before, that like if you resonate with this, it can be this idea that that we all carry this somehow. That something massive hit Earth at some point, and we are like we have inherited some kind of knowledge, and we are just living it, subconsciously living what is going on. And we are on a certain evolutionary state with the tomatoes, right? And we are now moving towards another one. But this can, like the abundance or the new life, this can block it, and therefore it has to go if you want something new. So it means we must let go of something that we may have been holding on to, or it may have like around this, or from this place could be a negative manifestation, like a negative creation that just keeps going until you change something. Like take yourself out of certain restraints, change your perception about something. Because it's like it all has to do with this one that feels lost. But maybe some of this can come back. You just need to make changes in your life. It could also be that this talks about that you're not trusting your ideas, that it seems like your ideas are not, you don't trust them to put them into creation, like you dismiss them. So there is something about also trusting that you do have what it takes, that you are capable here. Look at how she shines here. It actually, if I should say so, it actually looks quite Virgo-like to me. Like it has this like really big eminence of something here. With the shine, your light card here, I took another card out here. I got 8 of Raphael. This would be the 8 of Cups card, which is usually a card walking away from something because it's no longer satisfying you. That you have been investing in it, but it kind of just drains you, and it goes right well with the storyline here that to shine that light here of yours, you need to get yourself out of circumstances that are not helping you. It says here there's something better waiting for you. Do what you know is right for you, a spiritual quest. And again, a spiritual quest is also links with this, I feel like, and also with a sense of a Virgo-like approach to something. I don't know if it's just my theory. I just feel like when I look at people, there's what I know about myself and friends and family, and it's like we're all carrying something, but we are also actually deep defenders or protectors of something. And again, this card is here. It's like this is something that we really cherish, right? This is the precious here. But it seems like you're not living it, right? It's not because it feels like it's lost. I don't think it's lost. I think that the despair may keep you from it. The feelings that it's lost is a vibration state. It's like you sit in a bubble where it cannot come in as long as you sit here. And as long as you are very occupied. Maybe it's also about money, right? Maybe you work a lot here to try to just get by. Like the coronavirus has definitely like really impacted the world, right? And work situations and like the money of people, right? So it could be that you're still working just to get by. But the concern, the concern about money, or the concern about like just having enough to pay your bills perhaps, or like doing work that is not your, like you write about something but it's not your own inspiration, or you edit other people's work, and there's a lot to do there. I think it takes there could be like a like there is an order of sense. So you start with one thing and then you have to do this and this and this and this and this. So there's a line of things that needs to be like really looked at, and you are in charge of all of these. But this more, you would say, it's a very earthy way of dealing with things. But you are a fire sign, and I think like this earthly order and structure and discipline and focus and deadlines and deals and contracts, and I just think that it kills your fire. It takes the fire away from you to like have to go all of this stuff here, right? It's because this is supposed to be done by maybe an earth sign, because they would be more fit for that. But if you have, as I say, if you have an earth rising sign, maybe you have been like trained to do this. You have been told even back from childhood to do this. That's the way things are done. You can't just have a wild idea and then expect that it's going to be, you go viral, you know. Like it takes planning and structure to get something done. To open a business, it takes you have to talk to the bank, you have to get insurance, you have, you know, maybe you were told that you can't just have a wild plan, or that trusting in God, that God has you, you know, that God keeps you here, that you shouldn't be afraid, that God has you here, that is a lie. And then you maybe, let's say you had the Virgo impact, right? You remember a Virgo impact. So now it's like, I can't trust those words, right? I can't trust that God keeps me here. Because I felt it like I was literally dying, or I literally had a hit, or my child did, or a beloved one did. So how can I trust that? Now I have to go by the third dimensional plan here. I have to work myself out of my problems. And I'm not saying which one is more right than the other. I'm just saying that one is definitely third dimensional, and what I see here is more fifth dimensional here. Coming maybe back to something like this. Wanting to be maybe leaning more towards that than the other, because you have kind of tried that, right? You've tried it and it's not really working that well for you. There's something better waiting for you. Do what you know is right for you, what you love, a spiritual quest. So I feel like with the Eight of Raphael here, definitely also a walking away card. Like, to have the shine here, you need to walk away from whatever feels draining here. Yeah. Again, there is something about when you look at these cards here, the sacral chakra, I don't know, but it just really stands out to me today about the wings here, right? And how she stands here, and how it kind of, I wouldn't say these are wings, right? But it feels like something radiates here from her. Like how the wings are kind of, there could be something about Kundalini energy with the serpent here. Awakening Kundalini energy. Both are sacral chakra cards here, right? So again, I feel like it, like whatever you are walking towards here, like if you leave something, whatever you're walking towards here, it has to have a certain sound to it, or frequency to it. Like this idea of making a car review is not like it's not really for you, Sagittarius. It's not in alignment with you. It's very earthy and very third dimensional, I want to say here again with the Two of Pentacles. It gives you so much work, and you don't really get much out of it. I think personally you don't get much out of it. It's just work, but it's not that kind of work. It's not purposeful work. So there could be something about, and I'm just saying that I know this is not necessarily easy to just, I can't really just change my life like that, right? it takes maybe a bit of planning. Like maybe like if you are really going on a quest here to figure out what you want, then like if you feel like I don't want to sit here and feel so uninspired, like it really drains my energy here, I get no ideas, or I'm not trusting my ideas. And even when I get an idea, it doesn't seem like it grows, right? Like it doesn't stick. I may have like a quick inkling, and then 5 minutes later I think about like something entirely different. It never gets, it's like there could be a seed, but it never gets into the soil, right? It's never planted. It never gets there. And that's what I feel like. That's the one you are. Like you are the one that comes with like these, you could spit out these kind of seeds, right? And then someone else should take them. They should catch these seeds here and put them into the earth. There should be someone else doing this. I feel like you're doing the wrong thing. Like you sit and you take other people's, like seeds, you catch them and you look at them. Oh, this is what they want. This is how they want it to look. Okay, I put them into my computer now, or I make a sketch of them or something. But it feels a little bit like you are doing it for others. Like people come with their kitchen plans, right? What they are looking for, what they want, and you're okay, I can make the sketch for you. We put in this cupboard and this one, and here's the fridge, and here's, and you're the one sitting there, like you're just taking what they come with and you put it into this plan, but it doesn't have that, it doesn't feel purposeful at all, right? It lacks so much like real, yeah, I don't know, but I wouldn't say virtuous and righteous. Maybe it's not the right words, but you get my point, right? It's like it's not enough for the world. Like maybe it's also very restricted. What you're doing here is, like you work in one field, like a genre, right? Or a field, a branch where everything just concerns about a little part of life. Like it should be so much more expanded. It should concern everyone, right? Like I really feel like you would like to bring out those Nobel Prize articles. Like those that really put like a spotlight on something in the world. Like the way Jesus did, like that story has survived, right? It was big enough to get people's attention. That's what I feel like. You want to bring something to the world that is so memorable and important and that overshines a car review, right? It's not what you want to do. That's what I feel like. And you shouldn't either. That I don't think so. You're not. So if you are a writer, if you work at a newspaper, there's more in you. Like you're not supposed to sit and edit other people's articles. That's not really. But it means that you have to dare, perhaps, to walk away from that job. I don't say just throw yourself out there. Think about it. Like take maybe. But it's because this becomes more and more unbearable, right? This exactly highlights how much you miss this. Right? This is like despair or grief or something because something is lost. This is lost here, right? And the more you sit and mourn about this, and you just feel overswummed by practical jobs that has to do with other people, right? That it doesn't bring it's not fulfilling at all. And I still have this lingering. I'm sorry that I tap into this Virgo energy, but it kind of has this. It kind of just feels like it has destroyed, or it has this aftermath on all the zodiacs that come after. And you are trying to find your footing as well as Libra and Scorpio, and also Aquarius and Capricorn and Pisces, right? It's trying to find its footing after something happens. So I feel like, again, this sense of, like, I wouldn't say a sacrifice, but definitely a decision or a choice. That in order to have something else, we have to let go of a certain belief or a certain circumstance, or maybe a current job situation or something. You have to, it can be like challenging that rising sign you have, perhaps, that the way you have always done things, the way you were trained to do things, the advice you got, and you follow that advice, just get yourself a job, right? That maybe if it's so stressful, it's not really helping you, is it? It's not helping you. I want to put out also, I've said it in some of the other readings as well, but there's something about when you put in a lot of speed into something, like the Two of Pentacles could suggest that you are busy, that you're even a bit stressed, like you have too much, like Two of Pentacles is like a card of having too much on your plate. You're actually dealing with too much. You are responsible for too much, or you feel like you are responsible for everything, right? That you have to fix everything somehow. Maybe you're a single parent. Maybe you, I don't know, you are single in some way, or you are alone in what you are doing. And again, maybe you have your own firm, but the accounting, the receipts, the request from the accountant or other kinds of stuff is now taking over, right? It's becoming overwhelming to deal with it alone. And what actually got you into doing or creating that business in the first place is, it's almost like you have forgotten why did I start it in the first place? Because now I sit with all this to maintain something, maintenance, like keeping something going, right? And I've said it before in the readings that when you put speed to something, when you are actually hurrying about, you're doing all kinds of stuff at the same time, calling phones and typing and printing and whatever. When you do that and you have a lot going, that it's hyper somehow, this is where grace disappears. Like the grace of life disappears when we are hurrying. And life feels tough and hard when we do that. So somehow I also feel like one of the ways to, like I said, walk away here, well, that can be easier said than done. And again, I don't want you to like just like feel like, oh, I have to quit my job and everything. Well, you can think about it, right? And then you can figure out if you can make a plan. Maybe like, let's say you want to find a cheaper place to live, maybe outside in the countryside or something, right? Maybe you need less stress. So maybe you do need to quit a job, or but if you're quitting a job, what then, right? What are you supposed to do then? So maybe you ask that you work less hours. Maybe you are, and you move somewhere where you have like the bills are less. Maybe there's, again, depending on where you live, but if you are alone and you are taking care of a house, a garden, and everything, it can be a lot, right? It can be a lot, and children and whatever. Maybe you need either help, that someone comes in and helps you with some of this, right? A babysitter perhaps sometimes, or at least I just want to maybe ask you to just see if you can slow your pace down, like when you walk or when you try to do things in the office. I know that's maybe easier said than done, but maybe just try it in the weekend. Like, try to really slow your pace down and do as little practical here as possible. Do as little as possible. Like, I know, but try to do as little practical. It comes across as duties, right? Something you don't find interesting yourself. You don't think it's fun, or that it's maybe also necessary here, that sometimes you don't feel it's necessary. But maybe you have learned to do that. Maybe you've been trained to do that. That's the way we do things. That's how to build something. Or try to put your pace, like, slow down, stay in bed. Like for Scorpio, it was very clear, like they have been out, like defending and protecting, and there was a clear card that says, now it's time to heal. I said that the headline of the Scorpio reading says even Jupiter can get tired. And you're ruled by Jupiter, Sagittarius, right? So this is an energy of abundance, but I don't see abundance here for you, like not yet. It could come. It's definitely there, and I think you have your eyes on it, right? And it's interesting because it comes in, this healing thing comes in now where Jupiter is actually retrograding, and he's doing so until New Year's Eve, 21st of December. So it's a period from now. There's several months here that where, and retrogrades is an invitation, you could say, to kind of go backwards, to go back in time, to look back. Sometimes we meet people from the past. Sometimes we come across, in this case, Jupiter is usually also associated with the 10th house work. There could be certain things that come up from the past that you remember, I actually really enjoyed doing that. Maybe it's not the most well-paid job, but it doesn't matter. Maybe you were a lifeguard at the beach, right? And you loved it, in the sun and everything. Maybe you really loved it, and it pays very bad, but you loved it. Then maybe you should do that. Maybe it makes more sense than doing a car review for you. I don't care. I don't know what it is, and it's up to you to figure that out. But the point is that retrogrades usually invites us to have a look back. As I said, maybe you run into old colleagues, maybe you visit your hometown and you haven't been there for a long time, or you remember something that suddenly, well, actually, I really liked doing that when I was a child, or I had this particular friend, and every time we were together, we always did this. Maybe I should see if I could do more of that, right? Or I could call them, you know. But it kind of invites us to see. Also, maybe again, an invitation to figure out what is abundance for you. I don't think abundance is always money. Well, money is a thing, right? We need it somehow to pay the bills and so on. But money is not everything, right? Peace can be abundant. Joy can be abundant. Happiness can be abundant. Maybe sitting in creation is abundance for you, right? And having a babysitter or a cleaner that cleans your apartment, or a person in the garden, right, that takes care of the lawn, or maybe it will really relieve you, like give you some kind of relief, and it allows you to like do the things that you do want, right? But it's a long period, right? It's several months here, and it goes into the darker time of year also, at least in the upper hemisphere, towards winter and Christmas and everything. So it will be darker. There could be a little more that could be interesting to see if there's something like spiritual feminine here that kind of wants to come in, psychic gifts or something. Again, I feel this bridge towards something was maybe destroyed at some point. It could be interesting if something opens up. So please comment if that happens, or if this story has resonated at all for you, right? But that's what I feel like. There's definitely a focus on this, right? This card came out in the Scorpio reading also, right? And I believe it's like we are all somehow protectors of something. Like all zodiac signs protect something, I think. Like it's precious, right? This is just something that shouldn't be touched, right? It's like we have a certain element of our core that really is where we are looking at something from a specific viewpoint. As a Sagittarius, you look at the world from a specific viewpoint, and so does the other zodiacs. Like we all look at the same world, you could say, but from different perspectives. And we are all, I think, protective of something. Right? It's like we all represent the real truth, but each of us only hold like a fragment of it. You could say the real truth would be Godlight. It would be oneness. It would be where our souls come from. And here on earth, everything is fragmented. We can see different things. Everything holds different energy. We have to navigate and find the things that align with us. In oneness, you don't have to. Everything is always perfect balance there. And we are not in human form, so we don't have to sustain a form. Which is one of the reasons why I believe there is a lot of this lack mentality and thing going on. It's because our bodies are finite. Like we know that they can sustain themselves for a certain amount of time. We have to do something to sustain them. Like we have to eat, sleep, and so on. We have to have warmth, shelter, and things can become dangerous for us, right? If we didn't have the body, it wouldn't be a problem. We wouldn't be so concerned about earthly matters. Also, we wouldn't be concerned about, as I said here, like work and money and food and laundry, and we wouldn't think about it. The body is a part of the third dimension. That's just how it is. We live under these circumstances, right? We can't have necessarily, and that's also why I feel the impact of the Virgo. It was probably something that had to do with mass, like body, earth mass, or it's something that can be destroyed, right? If it has no form, if it's not tangible, if it has no form, no mass, no density, how do you destroy it then? Like if it's not there somehow, you can't really destroy it. But if it does have mass, I could take this card and rip it, right? Because it has a mass. So I can see it, I can take it, I can do something with it, right? And because I can do that, and because mass is somehow known for this, you can have big mass and big density, and you can have small mass and less density. And of course, these are different to break, right? But because there's mass, we all know this. Like to a certain point, every person knows that we all have Virgo somewhere in our chart. We know that potentially something could happen to us. Some have this very strongly and are very aware of it. They live with it every day. I believe Virgo does very intensely every day. And the other zodiacs, specifically towards Pisces, they are very aware of this also. Depending on where they are in your chart, of course. Personal planets or outer planets, but definitely present. That's my personal thesis or theory, but that's the way I read, right? It's part of my, I don't do normal love readings. Like, that's, I don't know, I never get to that. It's not what presents itself. I don't think I'm supposed to deliver that. I still don't know where this channel is leading me. I just read the cards, right? How they get channeled to me somehow. And it all has to do with choosing your own personal way, what's right for you, getting out of old ties, personal development, spiritual awakening, spiritual journeys. It's all about that. I hope this helps somehow. Please let me know if you somehow resonate with it, or if you feel like this has been like a loop in your life, like if something is repeating. And even if, let's say you have other Sagittarius friends, and you can kind of see that this is a thing also. That's what I feel like. If it's actually in our brains, that we remember something, we have a memory. Yeah, this is what I feel like I have for you, Sagittarius. I hope this helped. As I said, please take care of yourself out there. I send you my very best love and light to you. Bye-bye.